There is someone right now who cannot sleep because of you. Not because of something you did wrong, not because of a debt you owe, not because of anything you need to fix. They cannot sleep because they finally understand what they had when they had you, and they are living with the weight of knowing that what you gave them was something no one else has ever given them before or since. Stay right here because what God is about to show you through this message is going to permanently change how you see yourself and everything you have been through. I am speaking to you directly right now, the chosen one who gave everything they had and then watched as the people they gave it to treated it as ordinary. The one who showed up consistently, who loved without condition, who worked without recognition, who served without needing a standing ovation for every sacrifice, and who did all of it while carrying weight that most people would have buckled under. You did something that no one else did. Not because no one else was capable, but because no one else was built the way God built you. The way you loved was not common. The way you gave was not typical. The loyalty you carried, the patience you extended, the grace you offered to people who had not earned it and often did not deserve it, that was rare. That was extraordinary. And the tragedy is that for the longest time, you did not know it because the people who were receiving it never told you. They did not tell you because they were taking you for granted. Not always out of cruelty, sometimes simply out of the assumption that what you gave was just who you were, and therefore it would always be there, regardless of how they treated you. They normalized what was actually miraculous. They made ordinary what was deeply rare. And you, in your faithfulness, continued to give because giving was not something you did for applause. You gave because it was inside you. Because it was how God wired you. Because the love and the loyalty and the commitment were not performances, they were expressions of something genuinely placed inside you from the beginning. Type Amen if you have ever given your best to someone who treated it like it was nothing special. But here is what happens when something genuinely rare is removed from someone's life. There is a period, sometimes short, sometimes long, where the absence does not fully register. They are caught up in whatever came next, whatever distraction filled the space, whatever story they told themselves about why things ended the way they did. But then, in a quiet moment, in the middle of an ordinary day or a sleepless night, the comparison begins. And the comparison is devastating for them because nothing that came after you has measured up. Not because nothing good has come, but because what you gave had a quality to it that is simply not reproducible by someone who does not carry what you carry. They can find people who are louder. They can find people who are more available. They can find people who seem more exciting on the surface, but they cannot find someone who gives the way you gave, who loves the way you loved, who stays the way you stayed, who sees people the way you saw them. That specific combination, the one God assembled inside you, does not exist in anyone else. And now they know it. Now they are living inside that knowing. Now you are in their head in a way that they did not expect and cannot control. And every time they try to replace what you gave with something else, every time they try to convince themselves that they made the right decision about how they treated you, the memory of what you actually were in their life rises up and contradicts that narrative. You live in their head not because of manipulation, not because of anything unhealthy, but simply because what you gave them was genuine, and genuine things leave marks that time cannot erase. Type 111. If you know you gave someone something they will never find again, I want to pause right here and address something important. Because some of you hearing this are going to feel a pull toward them in this moment. Knowing that they are thinking about you, knowing that they finally understand your value, might stir something in you that wants to reach back, that wants to give them one more chance. That wonders if maybe now that they see it, things could be different. I am not going to tell you what decision to make because that is between you and God. But I am going to tell you this. What they are experiencing right now is the consequence of choices they made when the truth was available to them and they chose not to honor it. The revelation they are having about your worth is arriving after the fact, and revelation that arrives after the fact is a very different thing from wisdom that was present during the fact. The question is not whether they now understand what they had. Clearly, they do. The question is whether that understanding was earned through genuine change or whether it is simply the pain of absence speaking loudly in a way that gratitude and appreciation never did when you were present. And only God can show you the answer to that. But what I need you to understand, regardless of what you decide, is this. Your value was never dependent on their recognition of it. You were extraordinary before they knew it. You were chosen before they understood it. And if they had never come to this moment of realization, if they had gone to their grave convinced that what you gave was ordinary, your worth would still be exactly what it has always been: immeasurable, God-given, permanent. Type yes. If you know your worth does not depend on who finally sees it, let me tell you what God was doing the entire time you were giving what no one else gave. Every act of genuine love, every moment of real sacrifice, every time you extended grace that was not deserved, every time you stayed when you should have left because your heart would not let you walk away, God was watching and He was cataloging it. Not the way humans catalog things, not to use it as leverage later, but in the way that a father watches his child and sees the reflection of his own character in them and is moved. Because what you gave was not just yours to give. It was His nature flowing through you. The love you showed was His love expressing itself through a chosen vessel. And the fact that the people you showed it to did not fully receive it does not mean the love was wasted. It means it was a seed, and seeds planted in ground that does not immediately produce still eventually grow, either in the life of the one you planted it in or in the harvest that returns to you. Everything you gave that was not received is being returned to you. Every sacrifice that was not honored is being redeemed. Every moment of love that was taken for granted is being stored as currency in the spiritual economy of your life, and it is accumulating interest. And the return on that investment is already being prepared. It is going to come back to you through different channels, through new connections, through opportunities, through provisions, through blessings that arrive and make you feel like finally this is what giving was always supposed to feel like when it flows in both directions. Take a moment to like this video because your act of support helps someone else who needs to hear this message today find their way here. You did what you did because of who you are. And who you are is not something that gets diminished because the people you gave it to did not appreciate it. A diamond does not become less valuable because someone mistakes it for glass. It remains a diamond regardless of how it is treated, regardless of whether it is recognized, regardless of whether it sits on a shelf unnoticed for years. Its value is intrinsic. It is built into what it is. And the same is true of you. The way God made you, the gift that is your presence, the depth that is your love, the rarity that is your loyalty, none of that is contingent on external validation. It was yours before anyone recognized it. It is yours still. And it will be yours long after everyone who ever underestimated it comes to understand exactly what they were looking at. Type diamond if you know your value was always real, even when it was not recognized. Now I want to talk about what it means that they cannot stop thinking about you. Because there is something happening in the spirit when a person becomes the constant thought of someone who once overlooked them. It is not random. It is not simply the mechanics of human emotion and memory. It is a spiritual signal. When God begins to elevate a chosen one, when He begins to shift the atmosphere around them and move them into the new season He prepared, the people who were connected to them feel that movement, even if they cannot name it. Something in the spirit alerts them that the person they dismissed or undervalued is moving into a dimension that is beyond what they imagined for them. And that awareness, even if it lives below the surface of their consciousness, produces exactly what you are witnessing: restlessness, preoccupation, a thought that keeps coming back, a dream that features you, a moment where they pick up the phone and then put it down because they are not sure what they would even say. This is God making a statement through your elevation. He is saying to everything and everyone connected to your story that this one was not ordinary, this one was not replaceable, this one was not what you calculated them to be. And the message is landing. Type 777. If you feel God is elevating you right now, what you did was rare, not just in the context of the relationships and situations we have been discussing. What you did was rare in the broader context of your entire journey. Think about the moments where most people would have quit and you did not. Think about the seasons where logic said, stop, and your spirit said, keep going. Think about the times you extended forgiveness that no one asked for, because carrying unforgiveness felt heavier than giving something that had not been earned. Think about the way you carried other people's pain as if it were your own, the way you prayed for people who were actively working against you, the way you continued to see the potential in people even after they had shown you their worst, repeatedly. That is not weakness. That is not naivety. That is the character of someone who was built by God to carry something significant. Because the assignments that matter most in this world, the ones that transform lives and shift atmospheres and change the trajectory of generations, those assignments require people who love beyond what is reasonable, who stay beyond what is comfortable, who give beyond what is reciprocated, and you have been in training for your assignment for longer than you know. Every situation where you gave what was not deserved was developing in you the capacity to carry what is coming. Every moment of loving someone back to life who had nothing to offer in return was building in you a kind of spiritual muscle that is now ready to be used for something that will echo far beyond any single relationship. Type purpose. If you believe what you went through was preparing you for something greater, the people who cannot stop thinking about you are not just thinking about what they lost personally. Some of them are thinking about who you showed them they could be. Because when someone gives you a quality of love or loyalty or presence that you have never experienced before, it does more than meet a need. It expands your understanding of what is possible. It shows you a standard you did not know existed. And even if the person receiving it was not in a place to honor it at the time, even if they squandered it or took it for granted, the standard was set. And now every subsequent experience is measured against it. Now they know that what they settled for in their response to you was beneath what the moment deserved. And that knowing, that awareness of the gap between how they showed up and how you showed up is what keeps them up at night. You held a standard. You held it for God, for your own integrity, for the depth of your own character. And now that standard is your legacy in every life you touched. They may not say it out loud. They may never fully admit it to you or to themselves. But they know. And the knowing is doing more work in them than any confrontation or any conversation could have done. The truth of who you are is doing its own work without you having to manage it or defend it or even be present for it. Stay with me in part 2 because I am going to tell you what God is now activating because of what you gave, why the rare thing inside you is about to find a rare place where it is received the way it always deserved to be, and what the season ahead looks like for someone who gave everything and is now about to receive everything back. Welcome back. If you have made it to part 2, something in this message has touched a place in you that needed to be touched. In part 1, we talked about the rarity of what you gave, about why the people who received it cannot stop thinking about you, and about how God was watching and cataloging every act of love that went unrecognized. In this part, I want to take you into what happens next. Because the rarity that lived in you through those seasons did not disappear. It did not get used up. It did not get wasted on people who did not receive it properly. It is still fully inside you, and God is about to bring it into contact with the people and places and purposes that are actually equipped to receive it. Type ready if you are prepared to step into what God has been building for you. Let me start here. There is a difference between what you gave before and what you are about to give now, not because what you gave before was wrong or too much or misplaced, but because you are different now. You gave from a version of yourself that had not yet been through everything you have been through. You gave from a place of beautiful, genuine, God-breathed love that was real and powerful and rare. But you gave it sometimes without the full awareness of what you were carrying, without the full understanding of the weight of the gift, without the boundaries that come from knowing your own worth so clearly that you stop placing pearls in the hands of people who cannot see them. The you that is emerging from this season gives differently, not less generously, not with less love, but with wisdom, with discernment. With a settled knowledge of your own value that means you no longer extend the fullness of what you carry to every person who simply shows up and asks for it. You now hold what you carry until you can see in the other person a genuine capacity to receive it, to honor it, to give back in kind. And that shift, the shift from giving without awareness to giving with wisdom, is going to transform the quality of every relationship, every connection, every space that you occupy going forward. Type wisdom if you are carrying your gift differently than you used to. Now, let me talk about what is being prepared for you in this new season of giving with wisdom. Because when God watched you pour out everything you had into people and places that did not honor it, He was not frustrated with you. He was not shaking his head at your choices. He was moved by your faithfulness. And he made a decision. The decision was this: if my child is going to give at this level, I am going to make sure that what is ahead of them can receive at this level. I am going to bring into their life people whose capacity to love and honor and receive is equal to the capacity this chosen one has to give. I am going to match the rarity of their gift with a rarity of relationship, of purpose, of community, of assignment that does justice to what they carry. That matching is in process right now. It has been in process since you started becoming who you are in this season. And the people who are being sent toward you have been prepared with the same intentionality with which you have been prepared. They have been through their own fire. They have their own scars. They have their own story of giving and not being received, and walking through the wilderness of wondering if their love was even real, since it seemed to land so poorly. And when you find each other, when the moment of contact happens, there is going to be a recognition that is unlike anything you have previously experienced. Because you will both understand without having to explain it. You will both see in each other the marks of someone who has been through something, and you will both know that this time, this connection, this space they are entering together is something worth protecting. Type coming. If you believe God is sending the right people into your life right now, I want to speak to the particular loneliness that comes with being rare. Because being rare is not always comfortable. There are moments in this journey where the very thing that makes you extraordinary is also the thing that makes you feel most alone. Most people around you cannot quite match the depth at which you operate. Most conversations feel shallow compared to the conversations you are capable of. Most connections, while they may be pleasant and genuine in their own way, do not quite reach the place inside you where you most need to be met. And that gap between the depth you carry and the depth most of your current environment can reach creates a loneliness that is very specific and very hard to explain to someone who has not felt it. I want to tell you that this loneliness is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is not evidence that you are too much or too intense or too deep. It is evidence that you are in a season of transition between environments that could not contain you and the environment that God is building for you. The loneliness is the space between the wrong fit and the right one, and it is temporary. The right fit is being constructed right now. The people who will not just tolerate your depth, but celebrate it and match it and push it deeper are on their way. The spaces where your rarity is not a social liability, but the exact thing that is needed and welcomed and honored are already being prepared. Type scene. If you have ever felt too deep for the room you were in, let me talk about the specific thing God is activating because of what you gave. When you give love and loyalty and service at the level that you gave it, even when it is not received well, you release something into the spirit that does not disappear. It goes somewhere. It accomplishes something. The love you gave to people who were not ready for it planted seeds in them that are still growing. Some of those seeds will bear fruit in their lives that has nothing directly to do with you, but that was made possible by the investment of genuine love you made in them during the season you were present. You may never see that fruit. You may never receive credit for the role you played. But it is real. It is growing. And it is part of your legacy, whether or not it is ever acknowledged. But more importantly, the love you gave, the sacrifice you made, the commitment you honored activated something in the spiritual realm that is now returning to you in the form of open doors, divine connections, and prepared opportunities. You gave seed. Seed that is planted in faith, even in difficult ground, produces a harvest. And the harvest from everything you gave in those seasons of not being received is arriving now. It looks like favor. It looks like unexpected blessings. It looks like doors opening without the level of effort that doors used to require. It looks like people showing up in your life who immediately see you clearly and treat you accordingly. It looks like resources arriving at precisely the moment they are needed. This is your harvest. This is the return on the investment of a generous, faithful, God-built heart that kept giving even when giving felt like it was accomplishing nothing. Type harvest if you believe you are entering your season of return. Now, let me talk about how to receive what is coming. Because some of you have been in giving mode for so long that receiving feels foreign, uncomfortable, almost suspicious. When something good arrives without a fight, when someone treats you the way you always treated others, when favor shows up without a catch, something in you hesitates. Something in you waits for the other shoe to drop. Something in you has been conditioned by seasons of giving and not receiving to believe that good things coming easily cannot really be for you. I want to break that agreement right now in your spirit. You are allowed to receive. You are designed to receive. The same God who put the giving in you also made you with a capacity for receiving, for being loved well, for being seen and valued and treated with the honor that reflects your worth. And when someone comes into your life who wants to give to you what you have always given to others, your assignment is not to deflect it or minimize it or question it until it goes away. Your assignment is to open your hands and receive it as what it is, the return on your faithfulness, the answer to the prayers you prayed in the dark when no one was watching, the confirmation that God sees and God honors and God never wastes a faithful heart. Type I receive if you are opening your hands to receive what God has been preparing for you. The people who cannot stop thinking about you have something to teach you, even if you never speak to them again. What they have to teach you is this: you already did something remarkable, past tense, before this new season even fully opens, before the harvest arrives, before the right people come, before the doors open. You have already done something that was worth remembering. You have already given something that left a permanent mark on the lives of people who did not fully deserve it. You have already demonstrated a quality of character that most people spend a lifetime trying to develop. You have already been faithful in ways that God watched and was moved by. That is already done. That is already in the record of your life. And it is beautiful. So as you move forward, as you step into the new season with new wisdom and new discernment and the readiness to receive what God is sending, carry this with you. You are not starting over. You are not beginning from zero. You are walking forward from a foundation of everything you have already given and everything God has already honored in you. The new is being built on top of the already, and the already is more solid than you sometimes remember when you are focused on what is still ahead. Type already. If you know God has already done something significant in your story. Let me speak now to what the next chapter looks like in practical terms. There is a specific kind of person who is about to enter your world. They are going to arrive without fanfare. They are not going to announce themselves with grand gestures or overwhelming declarations. They are going to arrive quietly consistently, and they are going to demonstrate over time what they are through actions rather than words, because that is how God tends to send the genuine ones. Not in a blaze of impressive first impressions, but in the steady accumulation of someone showing up the same way every time, caring in a way that does not require attention, giving in a way that does not keep score. When this person arrives, your spirit is going to recognize them before your mind fully processes what is happening. Pay attention to that recognition, trust it. Do not talk yourself out of it because it arrived too simply or too quietly or without the dramatic entrance you might have imagined. And there is a specific kind of opportunity that is coming too. An assignment that fits the shape of everything you have been through. A purpose that requires exactly the depth you developed in the seasons that felt like they were breaking you. A calling that makes sense of every scar because the scars are exactly what equipped you for the work. And when you see it, when you feel the alignment of your story with this assignment, everything is going to click into place in a way that makes your whole journey make sense. Not just the good parts, the hard parts, the parts where you gave and were not received. The parts where you stayed too long. The parts where you wondered why you were the way you were and if it was even worth it. All of it is going to make sense. Type. It all makes sense. If you know God has been connecting the dots you could not see. I want to close with this because it is the most important thing I want to leave you with today. What you did, the specific, particular, God-assembled way that you loved and gave and stayed and served, no one else has ever done it exactly the way you did it. Not because no one else has loved well, but because no one else is you. The precise combination of your history, your wiring, your scars, your gifts, your heart, your faithfulness, the exact particular version of love that flows from you into the world, that is singular. It has never existed before. It will never exist again after you. And the people whose lives you touched, even the ones who did not receive it well, were never going to encounter what you gave them from any other source. What you gave them was irreplaceable because you are irreplaceable. And God, who made you irreplaceable, who designed the specific singular version of love that flows through you, has been protecting it. Even in the seasons when you felt like it was being wasted, even in the moments when it felt like giving was only leading to losing. He was protecting it. He was making sure that the full expression of what he placed inside you would eventually find the places and the people and the purposes it was always meant for. And that eventually is now. The protection is lifting into provision. The hidden is becoming visible. The planted is blooming. You are not just someone they cannot stop thinking about. You are someone God cannot stop moving toward his purpose. You are someone whose story is not finished, whose best chapter has not yet been written, whose greatest gift has not yet been given to the right recipient. That is all still ahead, and it is everything. It is worth every moment of every season that felt like it was not working. It was always working. God was always working, and the you that is standing here right now, the you that gave what no one else gave and is now stepping into what no one else is being given, that is exactly the you that was always supposed to be here. Type, I am that one. If you receive everything God spoke through this message today, God sees you. He has always seen you. What you did was not ordinary. It was never ordinary. And the life that is opening in front of you is going to be proof of that for the rest of your days. Walk into it. It is yours.